The Tipping Point with Mike Tipton is brought to you by Dubby. What is Dubby? Dubby is a clean energy drink that is made to give you focus with no crash, jitters, or angst like those other energy drinks have. They also have no maltodextrin fillers and don't use artificial dyes. Dubby contains vitamins, amino acids, a nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. W's products are made in the USA in an FDA inspected facility that strictly adheres to GMP manufacturing guidelines. All of the flavors are unique and custom made by W, and you'll never taste our taste anywhere else. The best part about it is they're affordable. W's drinks come out to about $1 per drink, much cheaper than Starbucks or any of those canned energy drinks. To learn more, visit w.gg.com/MRTipton33 and place your order today. Use promo code MrTipton33 and save today. W Energy, be better. What's going on, everybody? I want to tell you about my new friends over at Cleverman. Visit them online at becleverman.com. What they gave me was the energizing face and beard scrub along with the Cleverman face scrubber. And trust me when I say this, the energizing face and beard scrub smells amazing. Combining it with the face scrubber, making sure that your boy was looking as good and sexy as possible, opened up a whole different sensation in my face that I haven't ever felt before. I felt so clean, so fresh, and so clean, like Outcast said, and it helped me feel like I was ready for my day. Make sure you visit them online at becleverman.com and follow them on Instagram at clevermannyc. The link is up in my bio if you want to check out all the amazing products they have. Visit them online, becleverman.com. Time for the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton, hanging out with you here on a Monday morning, the Monday after WrestleMania. And yet nobody is going to want me to talk about wrestling at all, not even my guy Tommy Cananza, who is tuned in right now over on YouTube. We are live on Facebook, X, YouTube, Roku with National Streaming Sports. We are all over the place. Thank you all so much for being a part of today's show, the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton. We got the NFL draft coming up right around the corner. As a matter of fact, I want to play this thing right here so that you guys know where we're going to be for the NFL draft. Look at that. Audio editing extraordinaire Mike Tipton inviting you to hang out with me on Thursday, April 24th, this upcoming Thursday for the NFL Draft. We are going to be live over at Twin Peaks. As a matter of fact, I'm going today to solidify what the specials and all that fun stuff is going to be for whenever y'all show up to be a part of the show with me whenever we are out over there. You like the show? Come on, hang out, have a beer or 7 with your boy. The NFL Draft, it's a great time for 8. We have a beer every time there's a draft pick. What do you say? A beer and a shot every time there's a draft pick. 32 of them. Can you survive that night with me? I don't even think I want to do that now that I talk about it, now that I talk it out. This weekend, yes, it was WrestleMania. Yes, I am a wrestling fan. I was watching all that fun stuff. And my goal was I was going to have a beer per match. And that's exactly what I did. I had a beer per every single match. So it wound up being, 16 beers over the 2 nights. And that wasn't bad at all. Sober as a judge the entire way through. And maybe that's saying more about me than what I wanted to. Sorry, Tommy, I know your kids are in the car. Kids, stay away from alcohol. But we'll be at Twin Peaks this Thursday for the NFL Draft. Come hang out with your boy. Okay. Got that taken care of. We are good to go on all of that stuff. Now, over the weekend, along with WrestleMania, there was a bunch of other things that were happening in the world of sports. Ton of news and things like that people might want to talk about, but we're going to start with the NBA playoffs. Playoffs? Yes, the NBA playoffs. Yesterday was a fun day for some if you are a basketball fan. Now, I was excited during one game that I shouldn't have been excited about. That was the Thunder versus the Grizzlies. I was watching that game. Oklahoma City now has a 1-0 series lead, and they absolutely beat the brakes off of the Memphis Grizzlies. And I mean, they beat the brakes off of them. Memphis making it to the first round of the playoffs by beating Tommy Cananza's Dallas Mavericks. Sorry, Tommy, but your team, not that good. Anthony Davis, though, 40 points, even though he got injured, which is what he does best, put up a 40-point game, looked absolutely amazing. It was a fun thing to watch. But as a fan, you kind of felt bad for him because the writing was on the wall. That game, it got close at some points, but it didn't feel like it was close. It didn't feel like at any point Dallas was going to be able to take the lead from Memphis. Ultimately, Memphis wins, and their reward, question mark, was to go into Oklahoma City and lose 131-80. The only reason why I was intrigued in that game, a 51-point blowout, the only reason why I was intrigued by that game is the NBA record for the most lopsided win in the playoffs is 58 points. It was done twice. 58 points. And I wanted to see if the Oklahoma City Thunder can break that record because I really wanted them to break that record. I wanted to see a 60-point win. It was halfway through the second quarter, and it was a 35-point game. Halfway through the second quarter, and it was a 35-point game, 57 to 32 or to 22. Halfway through the second quarter, you had 22 points. And you guys already know me. I want the chaos, just all the chaos possible. Because Oklahoma City is exponentially better than the Memphis Grizzlies. And I'm not just talking about because of their record. I'm just talking about in general. Think about the fact that they have a 51-point win, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander doesn't even have his best game. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in the first half all the way through the third quarter was bad. And this is where people are going to talk about, well, rust and this and that and blah, 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 blah. Well, they knocked the rust off themselves and still won by 51 GD points. That was the only thing fun in that game. That's like I don't normally call a sweep. I always think that there'll be at least one game that a team can get. It's so hard to sweep in the NBA. This is going to be a clean sweep. I cannot see a scenario here where Memphis is going to get themselves a win. Tommy Canazza saying, F the Mavs, F Nico, F the entire franchise, F that building, F the Adelson family, and the Dumonts, F them all. But you know what? Like at least now you're in the lotto, right? Like that's what you want to be in. You want to be in the draft lotto. Maybe, just maybe, something can happen in your favor. And there's still the possibility of getting some more picks. Like you could be the flip side of that, right? Where the Miami Heat making the playoffs, making it into the round that they're in just to get stomped by the Cavaliers. They lose a draft pick now, and that draft pick goes to Oklahoma City, which is a wild thing to think about. That Oklahoma City is this good because everyone thought whenever they traded Paul George, oh, they're going to be bad forever. They get a ton of picks, and they get Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Now this team has built itself up. They got Nick Collison. Oh, man. They've got a good team. They have a really good team. Both Jalen Williams is. Yeah. They're a team that has 2 Jalen Williamses on it. You know what they say, if you have 2 Jalen Williams, you don't have one. Tommy Cananza saying, I wonder where the defense is that Nico told us would win championships. Where's that defense at now, Nico? That maybe it's coming, ? It's around the corner, maybe, just maybe. I'm trying to be optimistic here, Tommy. I really am. I'm trying to be a good guy, a nice guy. Let's see what we can do so that the Mavs can have some sort of optimism leading into next season, and I just can't seem to get there. Maybe you get a draft pick. You're going to get Kyrie Irving back. Maybe you do something in free agency. Like I said, there's talks of the Mavs going after Kevin Durant whenever the free agency period comes up. Maybe that helps out a little bit. God, could you imagine that front line for the Dallas Mavericks? You have Lively and or Gabbert. Not Gabbert. Why do I keep messing his name up? I'll get it. Gafford. You have Lively and Gafford at the 5, Anthony Davis at the 4, Kevin Durant at the 3, and all of them are 6'11" or taller. That would be one hell of a front line. Now, obviously, I think you lose a little bit on defense by having Kevin Durant, but he's still hard to shoot over, right? Like he's a big dude. His lateral movement is still kind of there, even though he's getting older in age. It's still kind of there. Kyrie won't be there until late in the season. Maybe all the projections right now have Kyrie coming back in January, maybe February. So if you stay relevant, right? Like if you're not the worst team in the NBA by January, you have a shot of making it to the playoffs. That gives them enough time for Kyrie to knock the dust off, knock all the rust off, all that stuff, and maybe, just maybe, be able to help that team out as they get better. Mireya Reyes saying they just need to be fast on their feet. And that's the thing, right? Kevin Durant, even though he's never been a great defender, he's long, right? Like, he's not fat. I was going to say he's big, but he's not a fat guy. He's got enough to where if he just puts his arms out and his arms up, he's going to be able to cause some problems, right? Like that's all you need him to do. Just cause some problems. You don't have to be a lockdown defender. Tommy Cananza saying he'll be 33, 34 coming off of an ACL injury. That's fine. It's not like the NBA, it's not like the NFL, right? That was a problem that people kept talking about with Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant's going to be in his mid-30s coming off of an Achilles injury. Hell, I want to say Kevin Durant was, 32 coming off of an Achilles injury as well? So, I mean, it's not the career ender. But the thing is that you don't need Kyrie to be the guy that carries the team, especially if you have Kevin Durant there. Then you got KD, AD, and Kyrie. Man, that's going to be a cool shirt whenever they get that. KD, AD, KD, and Kyrie. All hands on deck. All hands and feet on deck when it comes to defense for the Dallas Mavericks. I am drinking my W today. Hold on, I gotta do like the 1990s commercial style one where it's just like, oh man, I was out of the picture. Here we go. W energy. I feel it pulsating through my veins as we speak. Look, guys, I'm not saying that the Dallas Mavericks are going to be a team that can win the world championship, but I'm saying that they're going to be a solid team, especially, getting over injuries. I talk about that all the time with the Dallas Cowboys. Injuries are what really derailed this season for the Dallas Cowboys. That's the same issue that the Dallas Mavericks ran into this year too, right? You trade for Anthony Davis. First game with you, he gets hurt. Battling those injuries all season long. Hell, even in the play-in game, where Dallas could have been the second 10 seed to make it to the playoffs. He just, even though he got 40 points, he was phenomenal on defense. He was doing everything that you needed him to do in Anthony Davis. Even though he did all of those things, he still got hurt. But that's because he has to carry the team. I think if you don't have Anthony Davis carrying the team, you're going to be fine. You're going to be absolutely fine. You'll be okay. Tommy Kanata saying Kyrie's style of play puts a lot of stress on his knees. No, but that's what Nico said. Is that going to be the new thing? Like, instead of that's what she said, that's what Nico said. Oh, that's what Nico said. Defense wins championships. And I get it, right? They want this team to be a championship contending team. That's what Nico Harrison said they were going to be. A 5-year plan. They were going to be a championship contending team in 5 years. Well, last year, you made it to the NBA Finals. You trade away Luka Doncic, and this year you don't even make it past the play-in tournament. I could see the frustration with fans, right? So 2 years have already gone by, and you were expecting more, and they just haven't gotten more. Tommy Kanata saying Anthony Davis was the only one that showed up in that game. He was. And you can tell he was so frustrated. Like Klay Thompson, for as good as Klay Thompson is, he's also very hit and miss in these play-in tournament games. I really expected a lot more from Klay Thompson being the championship pedigree kind of guy that Klay Thompson is. But it just didn't happen this season. Really makes you wonder. The Dallas Mavericks, though, if they sign Kevin Durant, maybe just maybe, it helps them be a playoff contender, right? There's no scenario in my mind where if you have Anthony Davis and Kevin Durant on the same team, AD and KD on the same team, that you aren't at least in the conversation of being a playoff team in the NBA's Western Conference. Now, I get it. This is coming off of an Anthony Davis that wasn't able to get the Mavericks where they needed to be. This is a Kevin Durant that was on a very talented Phoenix Suns team that didn't get the Phoenix Suns where they needed to be. I understand the pushback on that. But all you have to do is just be there in the dance. By the time Kyrie Irving comes back, maybe you're able to make a couple of trades, which I know is a bad word to say around Dallas Mavericks fans right now. Maybe you're able to make a couple of trades that are able to help this team out in the future in the long run. What do they do in the draft? What do they do in free agency? We're making it seem as though the Dallas Mavericks are dead and gone, and I don't think they're dead and gone. To me, the Western Conference, even though Oklahoma City is still the cream of the crop of that conference, I can see a scenario here where Oklahoma City doesn't win the championship, doesn't even make it to the NBA Finals. I can legitimately see a scenario here with that. The Western Conference is still up for grabs, I believe. Tommy Kanata saying they'd have to bring Luka back to get me interested again. I totally get it. Then saying they are so dead. This team is so dead. They're not just regular dead. They've been dead. Like we're talking about, they've been dead and buried since the Middle Ages. They were part of the They were part of the Crusades. They died somewhere along the line, and they've been buried since then. Since the 1100s, the Dallas Mavericks have been buried. That's how dead they are. They are vampires. They're so dead, they're the undead. I like it. Looking at some of the other games that happened over here in the NBA playoffs, you have the Celtics and the Magic. The Celtics with a huge win, 103-86 there, nice 17-point win. Again, in the Eastern Conference, you had the Cavaliers with a 121-120 win over the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat probably should have just lost those games. This is the thing that makes me question stuff with the Miami Heat. You become the first 10 seed to make it to the playoffs via the play-in tournament. That's awesome, I guess. But with that win, you take yourself out of the draft lottery because you're a playoff team. You take yourself out of the possibility of getting, and I want to say it was like a 10% chance of getting a top 4 pick or something of that nature. You take yourself out of that to make it to the playoffs. And then by making it to the playoffs, you lose a draft pick that you traded on conditions of, if I make the playoffs, your team gets the draft pick. And now you're going to give a middle round draft pick to the Oklahoma City Thunder, which are already one of the best teams in the conference and in the NBA. Finish this season with the best record in the NBA. You win that game. You lose the possibility of getting a top 4 draft pick. And then you lose your draft pick completely by winning a game to go to the playoffs just to get slapped around by a team that won 27 more games than you in the regular season. That's a tough one to do. That's a tough sell. If I'm a Miami Heat fan, I am despondent beyond repair right now because there's not much in terms of the future for the Miami Heat that you can sit back and be like, oh, okay, this team's going to be good. You traded away Jimmy Butler, which was the best player that you had on your team. You now have Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo, and you might think to yourself, okay, maybe those are some solid pieces, but they are not the guy. They're a couple of guys, but they're not the guy. I don't understand. And I get it, like you got to win the games if you have a chance of winning the games. But if that win was going to cost you that much, why? Just flat out, why? You lose 121-100 in the first game of the Eastern Conference playoffs. Cleveland now with a 1-0 series. In the Western Conference, as Tommy Cananza's letting me know, the Dallas Mavericks are cremated. They're ashes now. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. But you know what comes out of the ashes, Tommy? The Phoenix. The Phoenix shall rise. The Phoenix of the Dallas Mavericks shall rise from these ashes and make it to the play-in tournament once again. Gary Brandt saying, what up, Tip? It's a coffee Monday. Good morning. I don't have coffee today. I've got my W Energy. W Energy, be better. What's good? Gary, I hope you are having yourself a fantastic Monday with your coffee. What kind of coffee? What's the go-to coffee? Gary giving a little bit of love to Tommy Cananza in the comment section as well. I feel like we need to make the comment section a safe place for Tommy Cananza, where he can just go in, talk negatively about the Dallas Mavericks all he wants. No pushback whatsoever. He is going through it right now. I don't think any of us have gone through what Tommy has gone through, where we watched our favorite team trade away a generational type player. I'm trying to think of another scenario of that, and I just cannot think of one off the top of my head. I'll have to kind of go through and look at the history of these things. I still can't. I still cannot find one. Gary Bryant saying Café Bustillos. Nice. I wonder if that's like a place in Murfreesboro, or if that's like a chain, or if that's like a kind that I can buy at Walmart. As I've gotten older, I've gotten more into coffee. In the Western Conference yesterday, the Golden State Warriors with a 95-85 win over the Houston Rockets. A very defensive game, but Steph Curry showed up when Steph Curry needed to show up. And this is exactly what I said to our guy, Brandon the Iceman Cone on Fire and Ice this past Saturday whenever we were live over at Buffalo Wild Wings, 655 Sunland Park Drive. You want to come out and hang out with Brandon the Iceman Cone and myself? You can every Saturday except this Saturday when Brandon's not going to be in town. Thanks, Brandon. He's doing the stuff as a teacher, so I can't be too mad. I can't be too mad at all. The Warriors get themselves a 185, or wow, 185, a 95-85 win over the Houston Rockets. Yes, Houston is the number 2 seed. Yes, the Warriors are the number 7 seed. There are 4 games, 4 wins that separate them. The Rockets won 52 games this year. The Warriors won 48 games this year. There's not a huge gulf between these two teams. And that's why I said whenever the series, was announced that it was going to be Golden State, I want to say it was Wednesday, when Golden State knew that they were going to be playing against the Rockets, I said that that's a terrible scenario for the Rockets because you're talking about a really young team. The least amount of postseason games played in the NBA playoffs right now. A lot less experience than a lot of the other teams that are out there. A super young team in the Houston Rockets going up against a championship-tested type team. Draymond Green, multiple-time champion. Steph Curry, multiple-time champion. Kevon Looney, multiple-time champion. Buddy Hield, Gary Payton II. All these guys have been around long enough with the Golden State Warriors. Then you bring in Jimmy Butler, who made it to the NBA Finals 2 out of the last 5 seasons, making it to the NBA Finals. Obviously, he didn't win, but he carried the corpse of the Miami Heat all the way to the NBA Finals twice. When you look at the Houston Rockets, you don't see that championship caliber type guy. Maybe you got Fred VanVleet. Maybe that's who you're going to talk about as like, that's their guy. That's the guy that won a championship there. Sure, he won the championship in 2019 with the Toronto Raptors, but we all know that was Kawhi Leonard playing in a different caliber, right? That was Kawhi Leonard being a different kind of guy. Look at this lineup. Amen Thompson, Dylan Brooks, Alfred Sengun, Fred VanVleet, Jalen Green, Jabari Smith, Tari Easton, Steven Adams. Even with Steven Adams being like your guy, and all these guys are getting 20 minutes a game. Jeff Green not getting any love. Reed Shepherd not getting any love. The Golden State Warriors have the experience edge. And in the NBA playoffs, we know, just because we've seen it, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Right? Detroit gets their championship by doing what? By having to go through the Celtics. The Celtics did it by having to go through the Philadelphia 76ers. Following the Pistons, the Bulls did it because they had to go through the Pistons. Other teams did it because they had to go through these other teams, right? The Lakers, they win their championships because they had to go through the Jazz and go through all the growing pains that we see. This is a thing that has always been in the NBA playoffs, in the NBA, is you have to have those losses, those growing pains to get to where you need to be. We saw it with one of the most talented teams we've ever seen in the Miami Heat whenever they lost to the Dallas Mavericks. They had to learn how to lose in order to learn how to win. And I know it's a silly thing to try to say, but it is factual. You got to lose first in the NBA before you can win. Even the Golden State Warriors, before they go on this run, you know who they lost to? They lost to the San Antonio Spurs, who are making revenge that season for losing to the Miami Heat the year before in the NBA Finals. It's all about those steps. You see it time after time in the NBA. Step after step after step after step. The Houston Rockets are on that first step. I would like to see what they can do. I'd like to see them make it to the next round. I just don't think it's going to happen. And I will hang my hat on that. I don't think that is going to happen. The Golden State Warriors, again, that championship pedigree, it means something. It genuinely means something. And now the Warriors have themselves a 1-0 series lead in the NBA Western Conference playoffs. It's not Houston's time. Not right now. Not right now. But right now, it is time for Just the Tip.
I just want to put the tip in.
It's time for
Just the Tip.
That would make me uncomfortable.
Promise that it ain't too much, but just enough. Just a tip. Just a tip.
Just the tip. Just the tip.
It's time for Just the Tip.
Just the Tip is brought to you by www.myhappynuts.com. Visit www.myhappynuts.com/Mike Tipton. Eliminate irritation, discomfort, unpleasant smells, and have long-lasting results. Use promo code Mike Tipton at checkout and save on all of your male grooming needs. Guys, the summer's coming up. Make sure you're taking care of your boys as best as you can. I've got a commercial that I'm working on. Tommy Canato saying the creepiness hits me every time. What's so creepy about it? That's a well-produced segment. Or is it just the way that it starts whenever it's Ludacris saying that?
I just want to put the tip in.
It's time.
Ludacris saying, I just want to put the tip. Is that the creepiness part of it? Or is it the me coming in with a bathrobe, turning slowly to the camera, seductively turning to the camera? It's not creepy. It kind of is. It kind of is. Over the weekend, I saw a tweet, and it hit me as a parent because I feel like every single one of us has done this. If you've been a parent, you know how this goes, where you just need time away. And the greatest of all time, one of the greatest of all time, Serena Williams, puts out a tweet that she needed to go to her car. She needed to go to her car and just sit in her car to get away from her kids. She just needed to get away from the kids. Augustine Pimentel says, stop it. Stop it. Even I got creeped out. LOL. I know what it takes to creep out Augustine. Tommy Cananza saying, I have to look around and make sure no one is watching me thinking I'm watching the hub. I mean, it happens at 8:30, in and around 8:30. I could only imagine you're sitting there watching on your phone, and then you're kind of like, oh, God, it's 8:30. It's almost 8:30. Is there anyone around me right now? You turn the volume down a little bit. You're kind of listening to it like this, curled up in the fetal position just a little bit. You're like, oh, God, I hope no one is going to be listening to me as he's about to play the thing. Why hasn't he played the thing then? And then all of a sudden,
I just want to put the tip in.
Oh man, that's great. Own it. Play it loud and proud, guys. Come on. It's 8:00 in the morning. We're doing this super early in the day. But all of us have been there. Like Serena says, right? All of us have been there. I just need time away from my kids. So instead of just walking, somewhere else, telling my kids to go F off, go somewhere because dad needs time alone. All of us have found some way to escape, right? Taking our phone to the bathroom, pretending like you got to use the bathroom for quite some time. You just need 10 minutes away from the kids, right? You got to find some way to do it. And that right there was, to me, the most relatable thing I've ever seen an athlete do, was say, I had to go to my car and hang out in my car because I just needed to get away from my kids. Serena Williams, the GOAT, making me feel like even the greatest athletes of all time understand what it's like to be a parent, especially if you have younger kids who love to ask a million questions at a time. I don't know what it is, and maybe it's just my kids, but they love to just ask question after question after question. and they don't care about what your answer is. They just want to get to the next question. So I totally get it, Serena. I'm with you. I think I'll do that next time too. Just go sit in my car. But if I do that in El Paso, I'll more than likely melt. Also, how weird was it that we actually got snow around El Paso over the weekend? Snow in April around El Paso. It was a weird thing. Ended the show at Buffalo Wild Wings, opened a door, and got blasted with Arctic cold air. I was wearing shorts. Luckily, I had my Happy Nuts on, and I was taken care of. Going back over to, though, the NBA playoffs. We got through the games yesterday. The Sunday games, we got through those games. Then you look at some other stuff. A lot of these series, you can tell, are not going to be close. I chose the Pistons to beat the Knicks. The Knicks get themselves a 1-0 lead right now, 123-112 in that game. They'll be playing again later on this week, later on today, as a matter of fact. I picked the Clippers to beat the Nuggets. The Nuggets right now with the 1-0 lead after a 112-110 win in overtime. These are two very close teams, guys. Two very close teams. It's going to be a coin flip here, but like I said, I'm going with the Clippers. I think the Clippers are going to be the team that's ultimately able to pull this one out. And then you look in the Eastern Conference, you have the Pacers with a big win over the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks hoping that maybe, just maybe, they're able to get Damian Lillard back following the blood clot that they found with him as well. They've minimized the blood clot. They've done all the things that they've needed to do in order to make sure that Damian Lillard can come back this week. Tommy Cananza said, I thought it was snow, but I wasn't sure, LOL. It went from sunshine to clouds to wind, rain, dirt, and snow. That's El Paso for you. I keep wondering to myself, and I do it aloud, when am I going to move again? Just because I don't know if I can keep putting up with the wind and the weather and all that. So you can hear it in my voice, how the wind just destroyed me over the last, we had a sandstorm basically from Wednesday until Saturday. Like, come on, man. It kicked me straight in the happy nuts. That's what the weather did. Maybe I'm blaming it on the weather. Maybe it's actually all the alcohol that I drank this weekend that you can hear in my voice. But I'm still going to blame it. I'm not ever going to blame it on the alcohol. I'll blame it on the wind, because why the hell not? Then, in the Western Conference, on Saturday, you had the Los Angeles Lakers, a 50-win team. They went 50-32. Lose at home to the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are a 49-win team in the Western Conference, the 3-6 matchup. Remember, I told you all, these teams are not separated by much. One game separated you 3 different seeds, and that's all it was. That's interesting. Maybe we have another ghost today, guys. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's a Monday thing. The ghost doesn't like the Monday show. So I just shouldn't do a Monday show from now on. The Minnesota Timberwolves get a 117-95 win over the Los Angeles Lakers. Not surprising to me, because I chose the Minnesota Timberwolves to win this series. I've said it since it became true that these two teams were going to meet in the playoffs, that I don't think the LA Lakers are a good enough team to make it out of the first round. But it begs the question of, what does this season mean for the LA Lakers if they lose in the first round? You go out, you make the Luka Doncic trade. So your future is looking kind of bright. You still don't have many draft picks from now until 2027. You still have to worry about what's going to happen with LeBron James. Is he going to come back? Is he going to retire? If he does come back, what version of LeBron James are you going to get? Because LeBron James playing at 40 the way that he is playing is absolutely insane. Should not be able to do the things that it is that he's doing at this age. How long can you, as a franchise depend on a 40-year-old guy being your best player? When does it go from being LeBron's team to Luka's team? And to me, that should have happened day one from the trade. Tommy Cananza saying, Lakers with the laughing emoji. I'm not going to lie. It made me feel a little better. I feel bad for Luka, though. And that's the thing, man. The Timberwolves are going to have a problem with Rudy Gobert in the next round, because you'll always see that Rudy Gobert gets played out of the game in late game situations because he becomes a target whenever you have a 5 or even a 4 that demands respect. The Lakers don't have that. The Lakers have 2 3s that demand a lot of respect. And if you allow LeBron to get his or you allow Luka to get theirs, just one of those guys is going to be the main focal point of the team. If you allow that to happen, both guys don't go off, only one can go off, you're going to win, because the Lakers are not a deep team. And you look at like how it went. Luka had 37 points. He went off. He did what we expect Luka to do. 12 of 22 from the field, 5 of 10 from deep. Finally showing up, finally doing what we expected him to do with LeBron. And then you go to the flip side, LeBron James, 36 minutes, 8 of 18, 1 of 5 from 3, finished with 19 points. But the weirdest thing here is that both of them, both LeBron and Luka, had a negative on the plus minus. LeBron had a negative 22, Luka had a negative 12. That means their team was hurt by them being on the court more than helped by them being on the court. And that's because whenever you look at what the Timberwolves have with Anthony Edwards, with Mike Conley, with Rudy Gobert, with Jaden McDaniels, with Julius Randle, with Leonard Miller, with Luka Garza, with Naz Reid. I told y'all, Naz Reid, you got to keep an eye on this kid. If you haven't watched a ton of Minnesota Lakers games, Naz Reid comes off the bench and he would be starting on every single team in the NBA not named the Minnesota Timberwolves. Dante DiVincenzo, and you look at it. These teams do not match up well. And that's what the problem with the LA Lakers is going to wind up being, is the fact that they don't match up well against Minnesota. I don't look at it as an upset. Yes, I know it's 3-6, but we're talking about a game, one single game, one win that separated both these teams. If Minnesota had beat LA one more time in the regular season, it would be flipped around. It would be a 3 Minnesota and a 6 LA Laker team. And we wouldn't be looking at it as an upset. Just one win doesn't make it an upset to me. But I like what Minnesota is doing. Tommy Cananza saying that dude in Naz Reid is nasty. I remember him giving the Mavs headache last year in the playoffs as well. And that's the thing. That's such a luxury for the Timberwolves to have. A guy that comes off the bench, gets you 23 points, 2 assists, 5 rebounds, goes 6 of 9 from deep. And we're talking about a dude that's a power forward going 6 of 9 from deep. The dude is a shooter. Like he is a baller. I don't understand. I genuinely don't understand. When you look at these two teams, how anybody can think that the Timberwolves are the underdog here. The Lakers should be the underdog here. And it's wild to me to think that this could be, I'm not calling it a sweep. I think it's going to go 6. But I just don't see a scenario here unless a miracle happens for the Lakers. I don't see a scenario here where the Lakers can win this series. And the longer it goes, the more likely it's going to be that the Timberwolves win. Like, the Lakers need to win the series quickly. 5 games. That would be it, because the longer you let this team hang around, the worse it's going to be for the Lakers. The game was played in LA. LA had the home court advantage. So the Timberwolves did what they have to do, right? They always tell you, go into the other team's home and split. The Timberwolves already did that. Game 1, they did that. That's always the game that you say you circle, right? You can get game 1. Hell, if I'm looking at the fact that I beat the Lakers by 22 points, I'm going for the jugular game 2. Because if I can get a 2-0 lead over the LA Lakers, knowing that I have the next 2 in Minnesota, and now I have the home court advantage, if I'm the Timberwolves, I'm going for the jugular. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if I see Minnesota win tonight against the LA Lakers. At least I think the game is tonight. I gotta double check here. Let's see. Are there any games tonight? There's not. It's not tonight. Wow. Giving LeBron James a little extra rest, huh? Tonight we have the Pistons and the Knicks and the Clippers and the Nuggets. The Clippers are a 1.5-point favorite, which is wild to me. I feel like we're also disrespecting the Nuggets, but whatevs. The Pistons are a 6.5-point underdog to the New York Knicks. I still think the Pistons are going to win this series. There's just something about the Pistons that I think that's a good team. I believe they're going to have to go through their learning pains, their growing pains, all that good stuff, but I genuinely feel like they are a good team. That's what we have tonight. Let's see what the Tuesday slate is. The Bucks and the Pacers, the Grizzlies and Thunder, and then the Lakers and the Timberwolves. The Lakers somehow a 6.5-point favorite. You got rocked by 22 points just a couple of days ago, and somehow, some way, they have the Lakers as a 6.5-point favorite. I am betting the Timberwolves on this one. I very rarely place bets in the NBA, but I think I'm going to place a bet on that one. I might do it right now via BetUS. Look what I did there. The BetUS talking point. I cannot believe somehow, some way, the Lakers are still a 6.5-point favorite. That feels like we're disrespecting the Minnesota Timberwolves, especially following a 22-point beatdown. And it wasn't even that close. It's not like, oh, they made a couple of baskets late at the end to get it to 22 points. No. The Lakers made a couple of baskets at the end to get it down to 22 points. Tommy Canazza saying, what channel is the next game going to be on? That is going to be on TNT. The Minnesota Timberwolves and the LA Lakers will be on TNT. Let's see what the games tonight are. The Pistons and Knicks, along with the Clippers and Nuggets, both games are on TNT. We got a TNT doubleheader today as well. There are still some tickets available in Madison Square Garden for $219. And then in Ball Arena in Denver, there are tickets as low as $44. So if you want a chance to make it to those games, if you got a quick flight that can get you there, you might be able to go see the Nuggets and the Clippers for $44. There's a part of me that wants to do that one of these days. Just find some cheap tickets, get on an airplane, and go to a game. I know a couple of years ago we could have gone to a Carolina Panthers game for like $5. Tommy Canazza saying, I can't wait for the NFL to be back. Well, Tommy, I'm glad that you brought that up because, as you know, we are going to be live at Twin Peaks. And as a matter of fact, I got something that'll show that. Join me on Thursday, the 24th of April. I will be live over at Twin Peaks for the NFL draft. I will have my mock draft. I'm working on all that stuff right now. There's been some surprises that I even surprised myself after doing some research and thought to myself, my guy, you need to start laying off the recreational drugs and all the alcohol because it seems like you have no clue what's going on. But I will tell you this, there are always surprises in the NFL draft, And that's kind of what I'm banking on right now. The surprises in the NBA draft. I know Tommy's excited about the NFL. Possibility of the NFL coming back. I'm excited about the NFL coming back as well. We have the UFL, Tommy. Why don't you want to talk about the UFL? Did you watch any of the UFL games? We also have the Stanley Cup playoffs happening now as well. There's a lot of fun stuff going on in the world of sports, Tommy, not just the NFL. There's so much more out there that we can all intake and ingest and have ourselves a good old time with. Major League Baseball is in full swing. And I wanted to talk about this. And I know that, anytime I talk baseball, it's basically putting you all to sleep because that's what baseball does. But yesterday, the New York Yankees had a no-hitter going through the 7th inning. And I'm watching on the little TV. I got the basketball game, Oklahoma City and Memphis. I'm wanting that game to be a 60-point blowout, right? And on the little TV, I have the New York Yankees. I am a Yankees fan, so I'm obviously going to watch some Yankees baseball. And I'm looking down at the box score because I don't have the volume turned up on it. And each inning, I'm seeing 0 hits, a couple of errors, a couple of walks here and there. But the Yankees Max Fried has a no-hitter. A no-hitter. Tommy Cananza saying, I don't feel like watching the Dollar Tree version of the NFL this weekend and talking about the UFL. I wouldn't even say it's the Dollar Tree version. I think it's the Temu version or Temu, however you pronounce it. That's the version that I think it is, the UFL. But it's still football. That's what it comes down. It's still football. You want football, there's your football for you. As a matter of fact, here in the Borderland area, our friend Marlene Salcedo, Medusa Designs, she and the New Mexico Bonitas are going to be playing football pretty soon too. Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should take a whole crew of people out there. Maybe we get the Tippies together. We go to a New Mexico Bonitas game to support our friend Marlene Salcedo as she is going to be playing right now as well. Mireya Reyes letting us know that the Dollar Tree is now $1.25. $1.25 for the Dollar Tree now. That's inflation. Inflation is happening, guys. We're starting to feel it everywhere. Not going to talk about this one. Not on National Streaming Sports, because the other day Tommy said, Tip, when do you care about what it is that you say? It's whenever I don't want National Streaming Sports to get in trouble because of me, and I don't want to be some guy that's going out here just causing a bunch of stuff. Tommy Cananza saying the Mavs messed up my fanhood. I'm in a sports depression until the Dallas Cowboys are back. Your Red Sox are doing halfway decent. I mean, if you want, Tommy, you can get into hockey. Tommy's saying when the Cowboys come back, the heartbreak begins once again. I agree with that completely. The heartbreak will be there once again whenever the Dallas Cowboys come back. I know that feeling. That's why I think I've checked out emotionally ever since the Dallas Cowboys, I guess it was December, when the Cowboys really had no shot. I've checked out emotionally from that because even the Spurs, I started getting excited about the Spurs. Victor Wembanyama, right after the All-Star break, gets the blood clot in the shoulder, and I was checked out emotionally. I don't think the Yankees are going to win a World Series this year. I think they'll be okay. I just don't see them winning a World Series, so I don't have any expectations there, and it's a good place to be in right now because my Vegas Golden Knights are the favorite to win the NHL Stanley Cup. And I love watching hockey playoffs. It's going to be a fun time watching all of that. Oh, man, I'm excited about it. I really am excited about it. But the Yankees' Max Fried, getting back to this, lost his no-hit bid, not because someone got an actual hit off of him, but because the official box score keeper went back and took an error away from Paul Goldschmidt at first base, takes the error away, and calls it a hit. Now, the reason why it was considered an error is because it hit Goldschmidt's glove. He didn't field it correctly. The ball goes flying somewhere else. The runner gets to base safely. I've always been taught that whenever the ball hits the glove, it's an error. It's an error. Tommy saying, I don't think I'm depressed enough to watch hockey, LMAO. Playoff hockey is a different beast, my guy. You got to. At least one game. At least one game. At least one of my Vegas Golden Knights games. You got to watch that. Maybe we watch it together and we just start having a beer every time. Every time a goal is scored, we chug a beer, bro. How about that? I'll find a way to make you a hockey fan. I'll find a way. Maybe we can do some stuff with the Rhinos here in El Paso too. I'll talk to who I got to talk to over there with the El Paso Rhinos. All right, everybody, I want to thank you so much for being a part of today's show. I always appreciate the love and the support. We will be back tomorrow live at 8 o'clock here on Facebook, YouTube, X, National Streaming Sports, on Roku, all the fun places that you always find us. Remember, this Thursday, we're going to be at Twin Peaks at the Fountains at Farrah, central part of El Paso for the NFL Draft. I hope to see you all out there. We're going to have ourselves a good old time, and I'm going to have some Texas Rangers tickets to give away as well. Ton of fun that we're going to be having this week as we go out there also. Tommy Canazzo saying, if I watched hockey, I'd be a Stars fan. Hey, do what you got to do, my guy. Do what you got to do. I'm just a Vegas Golden Knights fan, and I'm a Vegas Golden Knights fan reaching out to another fan for you to watch the Stanley Cup playoffs. You won't regret it. I promise you, you won't regret it. It's not like watching the Dallas Cowboys in the regular season. You won't regret it. All right, everyone, I want to thank you so much. Once again, without you, I'm not able to do all this stuff, so thank you so much for even tuning in and being a part of the silliness that we do on this show. We will see you all tomorrow. You all know there are hundreds of betting sites out there, but don't be fooled. Some sites are legal in some states only. Some sites pay in Bitcoin, and some sites have even been hacked. However, BetUS has been in business for over 30 years. They have future bets that are paying out in the thousands, and there's still time for you to bet on the Super Bowl, the National Championship, and even the NBA Championship. Just use the QR code right here, and it'll take you to the BetUS site. BetUS. Check it out and bet responsibly. Are you a fellow car guy? I have a 2008 Ford Mustang GT convertible, and nothing makes me happier in that car than when it's nice and clean. And you know who helps me get there? RevAutoCarCare.com. They help me get that pony looking as nice and shiny and ready for any of the car meetups that are all around the great city of El Paso. Spoil your car and go to RevAutoCarCare.com/Tipton and view all the inventory they have and find out what works for you to help make your ride shine. RevAutoCarCare.com/Tipton. Use promo code Tipton33 at checkout to save 15%.